Shalom and welcome back to the Hidden Chosen. I am Hadassah Batsaiwa and I am back to complete this look at the agenda to destabilize. This is part 2, what they don't want you to know. And in the previous look at this, well, I don't really want to call it a study, but this topic, we had looked at the ways in which they are trying and they will achieve this to destabilize countries, affecting deeply their economies, and the consumers are going to be heavily taxed. All right, we looked at that, and we also mentioned about displacements of people. That's another way to destabilize people in a country. All right, so let's look at one of the many ways in which people are being displaced and becoming destabilized through this displacement. Besides these trade wars and conflicts going on, we also have the dramatic changes in the weather worldwide, creating destruction in countries like never seen before. I mean, you will hear about floodings going on in one portion of the world, in a country, and that's it. And then the following year, you'll hear of tremendous storms or hurricanes, and then that's it. And another year, you hear about tornadoes. But what we're seeing happening today, we're seeing floodings, fires, tornadoes, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, all happening at the same time. All happening at the same time. So this is creating fear, instability in people worldwide because you can't run anywhere. There's no place to run. All right? Tremendous floodings in places, fires in another, tornadoes, and so on. All part of their plan to destroy in order to uproot people in their towns, suburban areas, even cities. A perfect way to install their 15-minute cities wherever these disasters take place. That's what they're going to do. They're going to go in and they're going to rebuild. And it's going to be a 15-minute city, a glorified prison for all those who will comply and submit to them. A picture speaks 1,000 words. So when you look at this picture and you see this water all the way up to the roofs of these buildings, these houses, you got to know everything is destroyed. Everything is gone. The house is no good, no more. Everything in that house is gone. So what do you think people are going to do? You think they have money to rebuild? They still have a mortgage on that house to pay? Unless the banks come in now and take back the land. They don't want the house, they just want back the land. Because you're really leasing the land, you know. People think that they own the land. You don't own anything. That's why you got to pay land taxes, even when you finish paid off your mortgage. And if you fail to pay that land tax, they're coming in and they're taking the house away from you because you owe on the land. You don't own anything. So all the banks have to do is come in and take back from you what you've borrowed. And now they can, because we know who owns the banks. And they can go in and build their 15-minute cities. That's why you see certain places are either burning or flooding. Right? I'm telling you, these people are so evil and so wicked. It is unbelievable. All right? So coming to a place near you. 15-minute city. We're seeing an increase of ailments in people. And according to the media, even some farm animals are ailing, which we are dependent on for our household staples like eggs, milk, butter, etc. All right. I know now they're talking about this childhood disease that I know that when I was a child, I got the little GBGB for. All right. All right. You know, the ones that it looks like a rash and it's really itchy. That is on the rise again. And they're blaming the children that have not been GB jab against this same ailment. And this is the thing that really, really floors me. How could you blame a child that has not been jibby jibby for an outbreak? All right? I got it, and I still got the ailment when I was a child. You understand? Because the jibby jibby was that they put in your arms, all right? That has what do you call it? It's like a time capsule. At a certain time, it is released in your system, and then you become ill. There's no such thing as childhood ailments. It's what they put in our arms that create these problems. I've known children. I've met a parent. She has two boys, and she refused to do those childhood jibby jibbies. And not once were her children ill with any of these ailments, these so-called childhood ailments. Not once. And they're men now. Oh, giving you time stamping myself. They're men now. And they've never been jibby jibby. All right? And you know what I'm talking about? You know that thing that they like to stick in your arm? The poisons? Okay. That's the stuff that makes you ill. All right. And a lot of these things that they put in the vials that they put in our arms, they all have, they're like time capsules. They're time released. All right. All right. Just as in 2020, today the world governments are gearing up for another breakout of a particular ailment. It was a fear tactic that worked perfectly in the past, and so I expect them to roll it out again. However, they can't do it while the Southern Kingdom is still here. That's why they're priming people with fear that another one is coming. Even the Hell's Gate guy is once again priming people that, hey, there's a second outbreak coming. All right. There is an end game for publicizing these ailments as vigorously as they've been doing to produce fear, which will lead to emotional instability. You see, that's the name of the game. Keep us unstable, make us feel like we're walking on shaky ground. We're not comfortable in our homes. We're not even comfortable in our own skin because we are so fearful of the next thing that is coming, right? The next outbreak, the next dramatic weather change, whatever. Keep us feeling unstable, right? Not secured, not feeling peace. And this is what people are going to cry out for. We want peace again. We want prosperity again. The taxes are too high. We are anxious and worried and frustrated and angry, and we want peace. This is what people are going to cry out for. And they're going to get it too, because the beast empire is going to come with all kind of sweet promises, along with its emperor, its king, the anti-Messiah. Sweet tongue he has. He's going to come and he's going to win the hearts of people with a lot of lies and deception. He's going to make them some sweet promises. And people are going to believe him. People are going to believe him. All right. So they want to produce fear, which will lead to emotional instability. This is the aim of their game, to create instability and to destabilize as much as they possibly can. There is also the evil agenda of provoking famine worldwide, as eventually food will become very scarce due to their depopulating certain farm animals. And this was spoken about in the scriptures, therefore we are not to fear these things that are currently happening. So we know famine is coming, and it's already started. All right? And it's going to get worse. Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places, many places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So the beginning of sorrows is in reference to birth pangs, also known as the seven seals. They're the seven seal judgments, all right? The first four seals are already broken, and they are occurring together worldwide, which confirms the fourth seal event. So the fourth seal event is the combination of the previous three seals that were broken. All right. So now we're going to look at these phenomenons that have been seen in the skies above our heads. I've seen some things. All right. I've seen them. Not these spirals that people are seeing, but I've seen other things. More and more each day, we are seeing strange occurrences in the skies. That's supposed to be we, not there. This spiral was seen over countries in Europe, and experts told us that it was fuel from the Musk guy. You know who he is? Musk, the inventor of the Tesla. Well, his SpaceX rocket launch. They said it's the fuel from his SpaceX rocket launch, or the exhaust interacting with the atmosphere, which is utter nonsense. I saw the video of it, and trust me, where was the rocket? If I saw the rocket first and then I saw that after it, then so be it. But this thing just appeared out of nowhere and disappeared just like the Starlink. All right. This is all hogwash, as fuel and exhaust would not create such a definitive shape like a spiral such as this, and a blue glowing one at that. Also to note, never ever believe anything their experts tell you. They're expert liars, so don't believe them. Believe the opposite of what they say. So if they say it is fuel, nah, it's not fuel. Trust me, it's not fuel. It's not exhaust either. So just like they said that the Starlink satellite orbits the globe Earth and they appear out of nowhere and disappear in the same manner, I've seen them. So I've seen Starlink twice in 1 week. And these stars, they're all in a row and they appear out of nowhere and they disappear into nowhere. There are no clouds in the sky. I'm in a place where there are only stars. You see only the stars and the moon for the most part. Hardly any clouds. All right? So at these 2 nights that I saw the Starlinks, there were no clouds in the sky, only stars. But these stars were seen visibly appearing out of nowhere and disappearing out of nowhere. So what does that tell you? Those and there's no globe Earth. So this is not a normal behavior of stars. The stars that Allah Yahawah puts above our heads, they go around the earth. They enter our dimension through the eastern portals and they exit through the western portals. All right? And then they come under and come around and start it all over again. These are not satellites. Those were not satellites. Those are fallen angels. Okay? And we know angels can appear like stars. Go back to the Bible. When there was a star over Bethlehem, who do you think that was? That was an angel guiding the wise men, as they call them. Okay? That was an angel. So angels can appear in the sky looking like stars. All right. They're not of this world, and so is this spiral. It is not of this world. The fallen angels are here. They've been here for some time now. That's why we're seeing such grotesque wickedness and evil on this earth. To the point where you're like, okay, I thought I've seen it all. But watch out, they're going to come with even worse evil. Okay? Because the fallen angels are here. They've been kicked out of the heavenlies. They're no longer allowed up into the heavens. That's why they want to penetrate the dome, to storm the heavens. That's what they want to do, but they just can't. So they're patrolling and they're watching too, because they know something is coming. They know someone is coming and they know why he's coming, but they just don't know when exactly. So they're patrolling the earth. All right. The fallen angels are here and they know that the regathering is due any day now. They don't know the exact day. Therefore, they are orbiting the skies with the hope that they can prohibit what is about to happen. For they know that if the regathering of the southern kingdom takes place, then it will only be a matter of time, very short period of time, before they are forever cast into the lake of fire. This spiral has been seen on the earth, symbolizing their demon gods and goddesses. And this is how we know it is all satanic. It's all about the fallen angels. So let's see what these spirals are all about. The spiral goddess called Gaia, like the spiral, represents fertility, dynamism, vital magic of life, and eternity, amongst many others. The spiral is an ancient pagan symbol which was used throughout the ancient civilizations like ancient Egypt. Looking at the figures on this slide, we can clearly see more than femininity being represented here. There's also the male aspect being secretly incorporated, and it can be clearly seen in other statues not listed here. So we have here, before I move on, the spiral is in the location where the female genitalia is. But when you go towards the head of this female called Gaia, it looks odd, doesn't it? And it looks like a male genitalia, because it is a male genitalia. And these two things here on the chest, when you look at them clearly in other pictures, they look like testes, because that's what they are. So this half here is male, and this half of this body, this goddess's body, is female. And if you notice that the arms are outstretched, and it's almost giving you the image of penetration. All right, the arms aren't down, the arms are up. Why are the arms up? Because it wants you to see that the head is going somewhere. It's going in to something. And look why it's going into. Look at all these pagan symbols, the five-pointed star and the crescent moons. And the crescent moons, we know, these are all satanic symbols. So there's a penetration into paganism, into pagan worship. Let's read on. The head with the female breast are in fact the male genitalia. The arms outstretched represents penetration into pagan mysticism, as symbolized by the five-pointed star in a circle with two crescent moons on either side. So you know the five-pointed star along with the six-pointed star, they are both pagan symbolism. I know our brethren like to use the six-pointed star. That's because they don't know any different. The six-pointed star are two triangles, one male, one female, and together it represents exactly what this goddess is representing. Two genders in one body, just like the Baphomet. Actually, it's three genders, no, two genders in one body plus a third animal to make it the triple six. Because there are only two genders. All right? And so this is what we know that the devils promote. They like to promote two genders in one body. They say that is the perfect body. All right? Why? Because it goes against what Allah Hayam created, one gender and one body. So you see where the wickedness is coming in. All right. These symbols alone tell us that this is witchcraft. The spiral is located where a woman's genitalia, like her womb with ovaries, will be located. Altogether, we are seeing the typical satanic programming of two genders in one body, which would lead a person into perfect harmony with itself, all under the guise of witchcraft, paganism. All right? This is nothing new. The gods and goddesses of these ancient pagan religions are the fallen angels. And so when we see their symbolisms flashing in the skies, we have to know that it is them. So that's what the spiral was. It's a fallen angel flashing its symbol, just like you have the agents of the devils flashing their hand signals. They're showing the one eye symbol, the pyramid symbol, all kinds of symbols they flash before each other. And this is what these devils do as well. They flash their symbols to let their people know we're here. We're here. And so we see their symbolisms flashing in the skies. We have to know that it is them and not the lame explanations given to us to cover up for now. So they are giving us lame explanations because they don't want us questioning and thinking for ourselves. Remember back in the day, back in the 60s and 70s, when people were talking about UFOs and spaceships and this and that, and they were denying there's no such thing, you're crazy. You're wearing a tinfoil hat, you're a conspiracy theorist, and all of a sudden, oh yes, by the way, we were wrong. There are spaceships coming to the earth. There is such a thing as alien, UFO. All right. Now they're coming out because they know that whatever programming that they have laid out, it cannot be interfered with. Whatever agenda they want to run is ready to go. So it cannot be interfered with. So when you see them denying and making excuses, it means that they're programming. They are now in the stage of programming people and getting ready to roll out their agenda. And until that agenda is rolled out, they're going to deny. All right? When they have rolled out the agenda, then they can come back to you and say, well, hey, by the way, that was our God that was flashing his symbol in the sky. All right? You got to know how these people work. All right, let's finish up with this last slide. The appearance of these flying phenomenons in the skies are for two purposes: to desensitize the masses about aerial phenomenons and to be prepared with an explanation for the ultimate of all phenomenons, the return of HaMashayach in the clouds and the chariots of fire coming for the southern kingdom. For now, the world is being prepped for the next biggest lie about the next biggest truth that is about to happen. The devils know that they cannot stop what is about to happen. And so they are getting ready to use the fallout of the regathering to their benefit, which is to finally bring the entire world under its control. with so much fear, chaos, confusion amongst the inhabitants on the earth were already being fed fear, anxieties, confusion, and much, much more for the last 5 years. No, it will all come to a head. The tipping point where people will easily succumb to terror and evil tactics. They will want to believe in something tangible and someone who will make life livable once again. The perfect scenario for the beast empire and the anti-Messiah to rise up. Now you can see why the people on the earth must be made to stand on shaky ground, to be kept unstable in all things, whether environmentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, financially as well. Can't forget financially. In order for the devil's ultimate plan of control to work effectively, the agenda to destabilize must be in place, which is what we are witnessing today. This is the end goal, is to make us unstable, unsure, uncertain, nervous, anxious, fearful, terrified. Can't sleep at night because you're worried about your 401k, your pension fund. You're worried about your finances. You're worried about your mortgage. You're worried about the cost of living. You're worried about the inflation. You're worried about all these taxes being imposed upon us. All right? You're worried. Can't sleep. Gotta go to the people in white lab coats to get meds to be able to go to sleep. And you got to take another kind of meds to make you feel somewhat at peace. It's not real peace, but it lowers your anxiety. Antidepressants, right? All kinds of stuff people are going to have to start taking because they're not going to be able to cope. Look at what happened in 2020. A lot of people could not cope. They turned to drinking, they turned to drugs, they turned to all kinds of mechanisms to help them to cope because they don't have the Spirit of the Most High with them. They don't believe in Him. They believe in their own skills, their own abilities, the fact that they can make 6 figures a year and now all of a sudden it's down to zero. Now they're losing everything, even the clothes on their backs. And so they're turning to other means, other ways in which to escape mentally what is happening to them on this earth. Whereas the people that believes in Him, in the Most High Yahawah, we are at peace because we know what's going on. And we know it's only a matter of time that we're getting out of here. It's only a matter of time when all of this is going to come to an end. He's going to preserve and protect His own. So we're not going to suffer like the rest of the world is going to suffer. For the northern kingdom who will remain on the earth and the Gentiles who belong to Him, they're not going to suffer to the extent that other people are going to suffer. They're going to have to go through stuff because they're going to have to trust in Him. He's not going to drop food and water in their laps. They're going to have to trust Him. And when He tells them to go, they're going to have to go. And if they obey Him, they're going to receive enough sustenance to keep them. And protection too. It all comes down to faith in Him, trusting in Him, obedient to His every word. So these agendas that they're running, we don't care nothing about that. We just waiting for the Father, Ha'aba, Allah Hayam, Yahawah, to come and get us. To come and return us to our home, our land, to remove all these evil, wicked people from off his earth, to establish his government on this earth, his own kingdom on this earth, his own king on this earth. That's what we're looking forward to. And it will happen. It will happen. But before it happens, before all those wonderful things happen, we got to go through this time of turmoil. All right? So prepare your hearts and your minds, because it's going to happen. This agenda to destabilize is comprised of many different agendas and narratives, all running for maximum effectiveness, as they are all now running, as they are now all running at the same time and worldwide. Never before has this world seen so much chaos and confusion, spanning a short period of time, intensifying at breakneck speed and occurring worldwide. But we were warned of this. HaMashayach warned us about this. Luke chapter 21, verse 27. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws near. This is what we need to do. Keep looking up, folks. Keep looking up, brethren. Our redemption is near. Like I said, if it didn't happen this Passover, we have next Passover to look forward for his return to regather his people, and for all these events to start to climax until Allah Hayam Yahawah brings an end to all evil. All right. So that's the ending now of this. I don't want to call it a study, but for lack of words, this study called the agenda to destabilize. It is good to stop and take stock of what's going on in the world around us. Okay? So we're going to conclude with the blessing for Yashwa'al taken from Bal chapter 6, verses 24 to 26. That's Numbers chapter 6, verses 24 to 26. Yabarakak Yahawah wa Yashamarak. May Yahawah bless you and keep you. Ya'ar Yahawah panayo alayak wa yahanak. May Yahawah cause his face to shine upon you and have faith upon you. I have favor upon you. Yasha'a Yahawah panayo alayak wa yasham lak shalawat. May Yahawah lift up his face upon you and give you peace. And now we're going to recite the command we were instructed to recite when we lie down, when we get up, when we go out, and when we come in, taken from Debarayam chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. That's Debarayam chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Shama'o Yashwa'al, Yahawah ala hayana, Yahawah achad, wa ahabath'ath, Yahawah ala hayak, bakal ababak, wa bakal napashat, wa bakal ma'adak. Hear, O Yashwa'al, Yahawah our Allah Hayam is one Yahawah, and you shall love Yahawah your Allah Hayam with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And with that, I will say, Shalom, Shalom, all praises to the Most High, Abba Yah.